Hi, my name is Donna, and I'm from a small town in Vermont. Please like and subscribe. As a kid, I used to live with my dad and my aunt, who owned a large farm outside the city. My aunt had 5 kids who all had gorgeous blonde hair and blue eyes, and I had tan skin and curly black hair, unlike anyone else in my family. And that gave all my cousins a reason to pick on me. Want to know a secret, Donna? You're adopted.
I think the buffaloes look more like you. Maybe they're your real family.
And I'd run crying to my dad because of all their comments.
Why is everyone so mean to me, Daddy? They call me names and say I'm adopted. Why don't I look like anyone else? What's wrong with me?
Nothing's wrong with you, my baby. In fact, you're the prettiest of them all, and they're just jealous. So don't let anyone's words affect you, okay? Dad's words could always calm me and give me the confidence to fight back my nasty cousins.
Our ball fell into the pig pen, Donna. Go fetch it for us. Yeah, come on. I'll help you jump in too.
But before she could throw me in, I kicked her butt and she landed in the pig pen with her face in the mud.
Donna! Oops. Looks like you got a nice facial to become pretty, just like me.
Thanks to the training my cousins gave me, I could fight off the mean kids at school pretty easily too. But when I reached the 8th grade, Dad met with an accident in the barn and went into a coma. The doctor said he had some hope of waking up, but it might take time. And then my aunt told me something that changed my entire world. Donna, you're gonna go live with your mom from now on. My what? Dad had told me that Mom passed away while giving birth to me, but now my aunt was telling me she was very much alive? What are you saying, Auntie? Dad said your dad lied. Your mom left soon after you were born to build a career for herself, and she never returned. So your dad thought it was best to never tell you about her. That's insane! And why are you telling me this now? How can I go and live with... I can't afford to raise 6 kids all by myself. I'm a poor woman. You have to understand my situation, Donna. Of course she was no poor woman, just a cheap one. But that was the least of my worries with this new bombshell Aunt had thrown me. My mom. She was coming to pick me up the next day, and I was both nervous and angry. I couldn't wait to ask her why she'd left me. But instead, a limo was waiting outside the house, and the only person inside was the driver. Holy jeez! The driver took me to a huge mansion. Guess my auntie wasn't lying. Mom did make a career for herself. Welcome to your new home, miss. I'm Gilbert, your mom's secretary. Some maids took my stuff inside, and Mr. Gilbert showed me to my room. My jaw dropped seeing how big and beautiful it was. And everything from clothes to jewelry was there in the closets. But the entire day went by, and I didn't see my mother. Instead, I came across an old lady in the hallways who seemed a bit lost. Excuse me, do you need any help? I was on my way to see my daughter. But then, suddenly, the lady's face froze like she'd seen a ghost. And then she went bonkers on me. You, how dare you break my favorite necklace? You witch, I'm not going to spare you. She pounced on me, but thankfully, Mr. Gilbert came just in time and pulled her back, and the maids took her away. Mr. Gilbert asked me if I was fine, and then told me that she was my grandmother, and she had Alzheimer's, which meant she often forgot things and acted weirdly. Later that night, I couldn't fall asleep, so I sneaked into the kitchen to look for some snacks. But just as I opened the fridge door, a shadow appeared from behind me, and we both screamed.
Ah!
The lights turned on, and I was stunned to see the woman standing in front of me. Mom? She stood there frozen like a statue. But then she just walked off without saying a word. What? Didn't she want to talk to me? The next morning, we sat down at the breakfast table, and for the entire time, she didn't say a word or even looked at me. And I lost it. What's with this cold attitude? Are you even my mom? If you don't want me to be here, just say so. She let out a loud sigh and said, Sit down. Huh? Sit down. Ugh, never. I stormed off and went back to my room. This woman was crazy. Later, Mr. Gilbert came and told me that Mom was enrolling me in the best school in the city. If she cares so much, then why can't she come and tell me herself? I shut the door tight, but then I knew I had to attend school anyway. It was better than being home alone by myself. On my first day, I was on my way to class when kids surrounded me like I was some kind of celebrity. She's so gorgeous, just like Beyoncé. The guys swarmed around me asking for my number. What was going on? I was the ugly duckling in my family, but here, everyone was going crazy about my looks. I tried to run away from there and ended up bumping into a guy. I was about to fall, but he caught me just in time. Oh, thank you so... Gosh, you're heavy. Whoa, ah! Hey, you moron! By the time I got up from the floor, he was already gone, jerk. And it turned out he was in the same class as me. I walked up to my chair and was about to sit when he pulled it from behind me and I fell on my butt again. You're so gone. I jumped on him and we both broke into a fight, and both of us landed in detention. It's because of you that I'm here on my first day of school.
Easy there. I was just trying to be nice. The kids spilled ink on your seat to prank you.
But you dropped me earlier too.
Well, you were just so heavy. What could I have done? Here, take this as my apology.
He gave me a pretty rose, but just as I held it, he squeezed it and water came splashing into my face.
That's for getting me into detention.
Ugh, you jerk! Later, I discovered that he was Joey, the smartest kid in my class, but he was so annoying. He'd always compete with me in everything and mess with me all the time. Then a few days later, when I got home, Mr. Gilbert informed me that Mom wanted to take me to a party. Wow, she'd finally remembered I existed. I was about to refuse, but then I thought of a plan to teach her a lesson. Oh, that sounds great. Tell her I'll come. The maids brought me a super cute dress, and I went all dolled up downstairs. The whole way to the party, Mom didn't speak, as usual. So when we got there, I took this opportunity to introduce myself to everyone. I climbed onto the stage where the band was playing and took off my fancy dress to reveal the ugly clothes I was wearing underneath. Hello, everyone. My name is Donna, and I'm here with my mom, who treats me with so much love. And look, she's got me this super pretty dress for this super boring party. Who else thinks this party sucks? I could hear people giggling, and Mom looked super embarrassed. My plan worked. But just as I was getting off the stage, I tripped and crashed into a waiter who dropped trays full of drinks. It was a mess. I saw some guards running in my direction, and I ran off to save my butt. But I ended up crashing into none other than Joey. What are you doing here?
Given it's my home and my dad's party, I should be the one asking you that question. Are you stalking me?
In your dreams? But it was his home? Dang it. The guards were still looking for me, so I tried to dodge Joey, but he took my hand and pulled me into a room. What are you doing? Shh. When his fingers touched my face, I felt a spark, but then I pushed him away. I don't need your help.
Cool then. I'll call the guards right back in. Guards!
I tried to stop him from screaming, but we both ended up falling onto the bed next to each other. For a few seconds, I kept staring into his eyes, but then I quickly got up. What the heck was wrong with me? I was stuck with him in that room, and surprisingly, he wasn't so bad to hang out with. He showed me his collection of action figures, and it also turned out that his favorite channel on YouTube was My Story Animated, just like me. We actually ended up talking for hours. Suddenly, I realized it was quite late, and he offered to walk me back home. If you're actually nice, why are you always messing with me in school?
Well, that's 'cause you're the smartest girl I've met. You never back down, and you always give me tough competition. And I like that about you.
Whoa, was he confessing his feelings for me? When we reached home, I knew Mom would be waiting for me like a raging bull. But instead, she was the one being screamed at by my grandma.
You, good-for-nothing loser. I should have left you at the orphanage when I had the chance. How could you be so stupid? I don't need your help with anything.
Saying that, she pushed Mom so hard that she landed on the floor. I couldn't help but run forward to pick her up. Are you okay? I could see her eyes filled with tears, but then she just ran back to her room and shut the door tight. For the first time, I felt bad for Mom. She had to see her own mother in such a bad condition, something that was heartbreaking, even for me. Maybe this explained why Mom was so strange and cold. The same night, I felt really unwell, so Mr. Gilbert got me medicines and the maids looked after me. And thankfully, my high fever was gone in a couple of days. But later that week, when I went to pay Dad a visit at the hospital, the doctor told me something shocking. Dad had woken up from the coma for a while and asked for me. The doctor wasn't able to contact me, so he got in touch with my mom. But she said I was unavailable. What? Now, when I was finally feeling like giving her a chance, she did this? I was boiling in anger, so I burst into the room where she was having a business meeting with her friends. Why? Why would you do that? You should have told me Dad woke up.
Donna, you were...
Don't say my name. You're not my mom. You abandoned me. After Dad went into a coma, I was broken, but I felt some hope when I found out about you, and I kept telling myself, must have a good reason to leave me, but I think you're just a horrible mother, and I don't want to see your face again. I stormed out of the house with tears. I didn't even know where to go, so I called Joey. He came to pick me up and took me to his home.
What happened, Donna?
I told him everything, all the truth about my mom and how she was the worst person ever. He then hugged me tight.
It's gonna be all right, Donna. You're gonna be okay.
He held me close for a while, and I felt really calm in his arms. As I pulled away, I looked up into his gorgeous eyes, and he leaned in for a kiss. And it was the best thing that has happened to me in days. But then suddenly, I received a phone call from Mr. Gilbert. Mom was admitted to the hospital after she got into an accident. I rushed to the hospital immediately. When I got there, Mr. Gilbert told me she had been out looking for me when her car got hit. I stayed there until the doctors treated her wounds and declared that she was all right. But just as I was about to leave, Mr. Gilbert stopped me.
Miss, you should stay and talk to her.
No, I don't want to see her, Mr. Gilbert. It's better that I leave now. She hates me and...
No, miss. She loves you. She really does. At the party, she told off everyone who was making fun of you. And when you had such a high fever, she nursed you day and night. That's why she asked no one to wake you up and inform you about your dad. Because she wanted you to get well soon. Don't you remember?
What? No, I don't. I thought it was the maids. But then, why won't she say it herself? Why won't she talk to me or show her true emotions if she really loves me so much? Just then, I heard her voice from behind me.
I'm so sorry, Donna. I just thought you hated me for leaving you, and I could never bring myself to face you after that.
But why? Why did you leave me if you loved me? And why didn't you contact me all these years?
I was raised by a very unkind mother. Even now, whenever she loses her memory and goes back to her old self, it terrifies me. After I gave birth to you, I got scared thinking I could never be a good mother, that I just might end up being like my mom. So I thought it was best if you grew up away from me, with your dad.
And do you still feel the same?
No. When you came back into my life, I felt all this love for you, and I wanted to give you everything, but I couldn't express it, or even look you in the eyes. So please, forgive me. Forgive me for being such a terrible mom.
Mom, please, don't cry. I never knew you had such a tough childhood, but you should have given us a chance. After everything I have seen you do for me, I know you're not a bad mom. So please, don't be scared and don't run away from me this time. Promise?
I promise.